Hey everybody, so my name is LaPretty and I am the Dominican Voodoo Spiritualist. And today I am going to be talking to you all about love spells. So, love spells has been something that is very controversial in the spiritual community, and people are either for it or they seem to be against it. A lot of people, when it comes to love spells, they're technically against love spells because they're like, oh, this is like hindering a person's free will. Oh, well, this is, against the law of attraction, or it's against the law of rights, or you're somehow like breaking some type of human law, or you're breaking some type of connection, blah, 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 blah. But today, sorry y'all for playing in my hair, but I gotta get comfortable. I gotta get comfortable. So pretty much, so I'm gonna be talking about love spells and whether they're right, wrong, or even ethical. So, when it comes to spirituality, spirituality is more than just cleansing, healing, and protecting. You can do spiritual work to attract money, love, abundance, to attract a job, to attract a business, to attract a child, to attract an opportunity, to attract a decision, to attract ill will, ill harm, danger, to attract sickness, to attract healing, to attract good luck, bad luck, whatever you're trying to attract, you can manifest it. You can call that energy in. But when it comes to love, it seems to be like a really sensitive topic. Now, I know spirituality is very universal and it's not always, you know, it's not always specifically one group that feels this way, but I honestly feel like it's mainly black spirituality, or the black spiritual community seems to have a really big issue when it comes to love spells and love magic, because when it comes to the Latino community with love spells, I've never seen like a lot of this preaching about, oh, love spells are not good and oh, love spells shouldn't be done. I've never seen this in the Asian community as far as spirituality, the white community, or even the Caribbean community when it comes to people being so against like love spells. And I know like every culture has people with difference of opinions. So everybody in that said culture is not going to be a monolith and think exactly the same. But I just see it be a constant complaint in the black spiritual community, because I personally feel like with black people, the African Americans, we have an issue with love. It's like we either have an issue with attracting authentic love, or we have an issue with attracting the right kind of love, or we have an issue with attraction, or we just seem to have some type of issue with asking for love or seeking love or wanting love. And wanting love is not bad. Wanting love is not wrong. And wanting to be desired and sought after is not wrong. And you can use magic to obtain that. And I know the number one spell or ritual that everybody loves to preach and shout on the mountaintops is a self love spell. If you want to pull in your person, if you want to pull in the one, if you want to pull in your husband or your wife or your girlfriend, significant other, whatever you like to date, then you need to do a self love spell, or you need to do a um, self care spell. And I'm here to tell you that self love is mainly for you and it's not for the other person. Just like forgiveness, people always say forgiveness is not for them, but it's for you. Forgiveness erases bitterness, jadedness, resentment, hate, hurt. It erases that off of you by you letting it go. But when you love yourself, you fill yourself up with self appreciation, self love, self perseverance. You ignite your self care energy within you, which means that you're going to start taking care of your hair. You're going to start taking care of your body, your diet, your water intake, your clothes, your cleanliness, your body care, your personal hygiene. All of that stuff is going to start kicking in and being reignited with self love. Now, I will say you may be able to attract men or women with a self love ritual because some people, some men, some women, they prefer someone who loves themselves. They prefer someone who takes care of themselves. They prefer someone who likes themselves and the nature. But self love spells are not going to always do it. Because if you love yourself and you like somebody, and if that person isn't reaching out to you, messaging you, calling you, talking to you, then you might need some help. And if that person blocked you, then you might need some help. Because I'm just gonna be honest with y'all right now. I am a left and right handed spiritualist. I do dark and light work. So I do good and bad. So I'm not one of those spiritualists where I'm going to be like, oh, well, you should forgive them. You shouldn't do a return to sender. Oh, you should forgive them. They didn't really mean it. You shouldn't do a destruction spell. Like, no, depending on who it is and what they did, I'm going to do something to them. I'm letting y'all know that right now. So don't try me, don't try to do anything to me because I will hit back. Now, but when it comes to love, people are not always honest and sincere. But at the same time, when it comes to love, it's not always a simple thing to do or a simple feat to achieve, or it's just not simple at all. And sometimes you may need a little help. When it comes to spirituality, spirituality is there for you to use. It's not just there for you to see as something so sacred, so pure, and so one. It is a tool for you to use to make your life easier and better. So, for example, I'll give you a scenario. So, say you like someone and they may not know that you like them. If you want to approach, you can approach. If you want to gesture, you can gesture. If you want to attract, flirt, whatever you want to do on your own, you can do that. But then what if it doesn't work? In situations like that, that's when you would use like come to me spells, attraction spells, or you don't want to use an obsession spell because you don't want somebody to be obsessed with you don't even know. But or you could do a come to me spell, some type of pulling work or attraction work, or some type of come to me or walk up to me or approach me or call me or think of me or just like seek me out type of spell. And that's something that's innocent. And then it's like if you're in a relationship and if you don't want somebody to meddle in your relationship, break you up, or to interfere with your relationship physically or spiritually, and if you don't want anybody to harm your relationship spiritually by putting hexes and curses on you, sickness spells on you, or blockage spells or anything like that, then that's when you need to do some type of cloaking work, protection work, or you need to do some type of binding work. And I know a lot of people are against binding work. Oh, you shouldn't bind someone to you. That's not fair. That's, excuse me, that's not ethical. They deserve to want to be with you or not. They deserve to have the right to either stay or go. But I mean, I don't see nothing wrong with binding spells. Binding spells are not to bind somebody to you that doesn't want to be with you, or to bind somebody with you that shouldn't be with you or anything like that. A binding spell is to keep two people who are in love together so that they won't break, so that they won't rip apart, and so that they won't, you know, wither away or divorce or break up. That's what binding spells are for. But binding spells are so that people can't be broken up. That's why people do binding spells. Then you have obsession spells, and you have, I know it's like the Haitian love spell, and so on and so forth. There's like a lot of different workers and a lot of different spells that you can use to keep you bound to somebody, and not always bound to someone, that's not good for you. It doesn't want to be with you. But binding spells can be used for those purposes. And then when it comes to love spells, to sweeten someone to you, to make somebody like you, to make somebody want to be with you, stay with you, this, that, and the third, you can do those because if that's your desire, then that's your desire. Now, I will say there are some workings, there's some spells, and there's some rituals out there that can work against a person's will. And it can work against a person's natural ability to lead or natural skill. But that's when you kind of get into like the deep, dark magic stuff. because like I said, there's good magic and there's bad magic, and then you have the type of magic that you can manipulate to get people to be interested in you or get people to want you or to like you, this, that, and the third, that may not naturally have that feeling. And that's when you start working with, the darker energies, the darker spirits, and darker powers. And that's all I'm gonna say. But there's nothing really wrong with a love spell, because if you love your person, you want your person to be with you, to stay with you. You don't want to get divorced, or you don't want to get cheated on, or you don't want him or her to run off with the next man or woman, or if you don't want this person to stop loving you, liking you, if you want to keep them around, it's okay to do love spells on them, whether it's attraction, come to me, or be bound to me, or do as I say, or any type of work, because that's your relationship, or that's your want, or that's your need, or that's your liking, or if that's what you want to do, that's what that's what you should do. But I will say this, and this is a secret, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. I know some people sometimes have spells put on them that they didn't want put on them, but were unaware that a spell was put on them. This is why, if you are a spiritual person or just in general, it's always good to have protection work done for you, or it's good to do your own protection work to protect yourself from things like that happening, or it's good to stay prayed up. If you believe in God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit, you could be protected by them when it comes to root work, when it comes to voodoo, when it comes to any type of root work or spell work or magic that is being manifested for you or manifested against you or for you without your knowledge and without your consent. You can pray those things off, you can pray those things away, and you can guard and protect yourself from those things affecting you. Because in life, you do have people who get preyed on magically, and you have people that do get preyed on spiritually. And for some reason nowadays, people just see magic as just like a Pandora box. Ooh, I got a candle. Ooh, I got a lighter. Ooh, I got some herbs. I want to light this up and manifest something. And then you have people who will try to be real devious and sneaky, and they'll try to put like root work on you, or spells on you, or hexes or curses. And some of these people don't even know what they're playing with or what they're messing with. And then if you're a really good spiritualist, or somebody who has some protective spirits or guards on them, they can fight back. They can fight that off, and that'll hurt the person and hit the person 10 times harder than when they hit you, because they were in the wrong and they didn't know what they were doing and they didn't know who they were playing with. So that's an instance where I believe it's wrong, because I will say this: even though I am a left handed and right handed magic person, I don't believe in doing work on people that is wrong, or that is against them, or permission was not given to me to do it. Because everybody who's spiritual may be a lot stronger, than I am, or, people who may not appear to be spiritual may be spiritual than what they portray themselves to be, because, a lot of people are into this stuff. You could be like friends with a priest or a priestess and not even know it. Or you could be friends with, or colleagues, or a coworker, or a stranger could walk past you and they could be a high priest or a high priestess, or they could be very spiritually powerful. And if you try to, curse them, hex them, or throw any type of dirt magic, dark magic, or anything at them, they could really overpower you, or they could end up hurting you, because people fail to realize that people can be unalived by this type of work. People can become sick, people can become ill, people can be put in the grave, they can be put 6 feet under, they can lose jobs, they can, have trouble in their families, friendships and relationships and money problems and so on and so forth. Like, this stuff can really like damage you. And if you're not a skilled spiritualist and don't have money to pay a spiritualist to kind of clean this stuff up for you, you're screwed. So, that's pretty much like the warning that I will give off to people, is to just be careful. Be careful as to what you do and who you do it on and who you do it for. But also be careful of just what you're doing in general. Because if you don't know what you're doing and you're just dibbling and dabbling, it could be dangerous, especially when it comes to love. And then sometimes, not only can people be spiritually powerful, but people can also be very intuitive or have good discernment. Some people don't even have to be spiritual to know that you're doing something to them. Or they don't even have to be spiritual to know that you're planning something or something is going on or that something weird or something odd is happening that's not natural. Like people can tell the signs when something is not natural, when it's not authentic, and when it didn't come from a sincere or genuine place. So, those are the things that you have to look at. But there is nothing wrong with wanting to be desired, wanting to be loved, wanting to be cherished or held. And there's nothing wrong with you wanting somebody to like you. Because I will say, love spells can work, attraction spells can work, sweetening spells can work, passion spells can work. If you want a specific person to want you or love you or like you, those things can work in your favor. And like I said, if you have the skill or gift of manipulation, it can work, but it may not last long. And then if you are aiming at somebody that your spirits may not think is the one for you or may not be the best one, then that's the reason why it didn't manifest. Or sometimes if the person has a really strong spirit and they can sense or tell that you like them and they don't really like you like that, then it's not going to work. Because I can even tell you from experience, people who do work that's like deep dark, that get people to be interested in them and whatnot, it may not last long. Because when it comes to dark magic and dark work, you have to keep that type of work up. When you're working on people or doing stuff to people that's not natural and not coming from a genuine place, it has to be worked up and it has to be maintained. And a lot of times when you have dark spirited or dark energy people, when they come across people that are light energy or good energy or pure or clean energy, it washes the work out, or that person kind of gets a sense of something is wrong or something's different, or why is it that when I'm with this person I feel good, but when I'm with you I'm just crumbling and things are just happening